Starting from scratch, day 8. Last night's walk was a turning point for her. She hadn't wanted to go, but knew it was best, just downhill to the motorway, then back up. A peculiar and almost distressing thing happened as she was almost back home. It was eventually the instigator to her feeling better. As she walked along, she noticed a street lamp go out as she passed by it. Oh no, she thought. That's not good, as she recounted a story in her mind. The story had gone something along the lines of this. As she walked along, she noticed a street lamp go out as she passed by it. Oh no, she thought. That's not good. As she was recounting a story in her mind. The story had gone something along the lines of this. A lady was walking down the street and the street lamps were turning on as she passed them by. Or perhaps in this precise moment she thinks again that perhaps they too were switching off. In any case, she remembered the conversation the lady was having with Abraham Hicks. Abraham confirmed that the switching of the lampposts did very much have to do with the high energy of the lady. Now then, originally she had thought, oh no, because she labelled her energy as quote-unquote bad at first. Then she let it go. That is, until she walked under another street light, and it too switched off. And this was just before reaching home. She collected herself, took away all labels, and simply told herself that her energy in that moment was strong. She walked up the flight of dark stairs, contemplating her energy, and saw a light switch, which lit up the stairwell. Game changer, she thought. I have the power in me to turn on the light. In this present moment, she says to herself, the light is not from outside of me, it is from within. I always have the option to choose how I perceive anything. She's liking this new process of quote-unquote owning herself, of stepping upon her path with both feet. Yesterday, she thought she was destined for the homeless shelter and thought for a moment about what she could drink that would put her out of her misery. Apple cider vinegar? Not even a whole bottle would do the job. A thought passed quickly. More decisions to be made. Rent was nearly covered due to her seriously phenomenal friends. She's not sure what she'd have done if the third one had not come through today. Never mind, though, as it's all covered, and with great humiliation. Imperative it is now that she use her own resources to step up to her life and all that she is meant to be. If the last 2 years staying with family were like a baby being born, this baby, or rather this little cookie, is learning how to stand on her own 2 feet. It's possible, as with many kids, she may well skip to running soon after finding her balance and trusting her uprightness. All is well, she tells herself. All is well. She is excited about the upcoming job, and what she wants is something fun, with good people to work with, or for, or around, that pays for her to support herself and her dear Adrianka, who she is entirely grateful for. You'll remember Adrianka, perhaps, the name she's given her apartment. She loves her dearly. She's all that she's wanted, spacious and bright, warm. Her kitchen is glorious, and she feels so comforted and truly at home in Adrianka. Yes, the job, fun, well-paying. Travel would be a bonus. Something even like waitressing, where tips were earnable. She thinks to herself, wouldn't it be fun to work as an escort? Without the sex, of course. She's a wonderful companion and not so much interested in anything more than an evening out with a true gentleman who would value having the likes of her by his side. Why not? She thinks somehow, or rather feels the familiarity of this quote-unquote job. A past life, perhaps. In any case, feeling good is the most important thing to her, and at that, feeling good enough, inspired and happy at the end of her work time to come back to Adrianka and write about her quote-unquote work is ideal. She wants a job that she is happy and inspired to write about and share with you. That's fun, isn't it? Indeed. And with that, time for bed. Tomorrow is a timeline or paradigm shift, a celebration of sorts. Collecting money for Adrianka for the last time. This month is a celebratory one. Well, today is a celebratory day, here and now, as she truly comes into alignment more and more with all that is, with all that she is. Oh heavens, the God conversation. Perhaps tomorrow, okay? Before signing off, she wishes to express her deepest appreciation for you, our dear listener. Thank you, and bless you. Day 9. It was an extraordinary day, and she was absolutely knackered, having got up early. Tomorrow we continue. Day 10. And tomorrow it is. Only about an hour and a half or so later, she fell asleep on the couch, out completely, got up and went to bed, only to fully wake up, hungry and compelled to write. Sprouted lentils with potatoes, garlic, scallions, celery, mustard seeds, chilies, basil, olive oil and nutritional yeast with a pinch of sea salt. Thank you very much. If you're going to have a midnight meal, it may as well be a meal of champions. Mind you, she does feel rather too full right now and reckons it's time again for a break to her digestive system, quite possibly 7 to 10 days. On that for a moment, she's not done her usual fasting for some time, having fallen out of routine for months now. She's put on a little weight, but isn't being hard on herself about it. Who actually cares anyhow? You don't, right? You might notice for a moment in someone a loss or gain of weight, but actually, what does it really matter? It doesn't. It just doesn't. Oh, the liberation in just that trail of thought. Wouldn't you agree? We'd be truly so much healthier, so much healthier, if we just ate what we really enjoyed without judging ourselves for it. Anyhow, as for herself, she notices her gain, and as she said to her best friend the other day, oh well, I'm a little voluptuous for now. I love me as I am, she thinks to herself, smiling. Right, so a celebratory day, this 22. There were or are a trine of angels who, with their hearts together, kept her aligned with Adrianka. What does that mean? Well, she couldn't produce money for rent, and these beautiful souls chimed in upon her asking. Perhaps she even recounted this yesterday, but remembers not. It already feels like days ago, and she prefers not to look back. In fact, what is meant to be told simply is. An interesting trine they are, and to be quite honest, they came with not just the money, but other gifts also. A conversation with the first one, and she's reminded of this. So many successful people started out with nothing, in garages, like U2, the band, for example, like Steve Jobs. So many. Yes, she exclaimed, and he told her back, you've got your garage now. God bless him. for that line of well-contemplated thinking of my existence. I'm so deeply appreciative, she said. She retracts what she said about no one actually caring about one's weight gain or loss. There has been a conversation of late that people just don't generally give a crap, being so saturated in their own selves, but that's clearly not true. People do care. Her friend was really thinking of her well-being and knowing of her success with that lovely analogy. She did agree and relate to him the analogy of a child starting to walk, and the resounding message being loud and clear: just find your balance, know your garage, and you'll be moving in no time at all, in all senses of the sentence. Just then she liked so much what she had written and paused from it. She picked up Monterey, her phone, and played the recording she'd done the other day, the few lines of A Case of You by Joni Mitchell. Now, on a total aside from her trying, she goes back to him, not the sender of the song, but the man whom she cannot shake. When they'd clued into one another, after knowing each other for years, it was a union that can barely be put into words. They were perfect. He was perfect. It was perfect. Until it wasn't, and then it ended, like a head on a guillotine. It had to. It had to. Much time passed, with no contact, or very little, that would be like lifetimes all over again before they'd see one another. She never did stop loving him, but did have to grieve their parting ways, though he died. He did in a way. He's not the same. Which is okay, and which is for the best. She too is not the same, but carries him deeply in her heart. For certain they are connected way beyond the physical realm. She dreams of him, she feels him when she's by herself. She knows him by heart, her own and his. It has to be enough. Just because it ended need not mean one cannot love. Love anyhow, unconditionally, without expectation. Just a deep, resounding love, not because of what he does, how he walks, or what he looks like. Rather just simply his being, his heart. We carry on with the second of the trine, her dear soul sister and love. To meet in person, to pass on the cash proved difficult, though it arrived with love, and with it a message as though God himself spoke through her, with instructions, or rather better said, a request, as to how to handle this interaction of money, to just keep an open conversation about it and how things are going. Communication. The message was along the lines of this: please, just please keep the airwaves open so that 6 months down the road, or don't just remember out of the blue that I loaned you money and hey, what about that? No weird feelings, no friendships on the line, okay? Oh gosh, her words were not only seen, but felt. Agreed, 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 agreed. She herself didn't want it any other way, and was appreciative. It was spelt out so clearly. That was gift number 2, and well, truly, she is a gift in and of herself. To complete the trine, a friend whom she admires for his entrepreneurial spirit and ways, balance, and laid-back attitude to life. Friends for 9 years now. Though seeing each other after 6 years, it was tremendous to see him again. Possibly more than anyone she knows, they share and practice the same values. Me first, otherwise I'm useless to others. Later that day, in the evening, no, just no. Not today. She's transitioning. Time to let go of another layer.